have you ever noticed how some people always tend to succeed while others don't? And even though from the outside perspective, it might seem as if they're both working equally as hard, only one succeeds. And you might ask yourself, why is that? And that is because success is built behind closed doors. What you do when nobody is watching you is what will determine your future. And it's also what will determine your success. What are you doing when nobody is cheering you on, when you're all alone and your discipline is being tested? And you have to realize that this moment is the moment that matters the most. Successful people have certain habits that they do every single morning, every single day to ensure that they're progressing and making changes even when nobody is watching. And today, I will cover the habits that the top percentage of wealthy and successful people have in common in order to succeed. But before I start explaining all the habits, I just want you throughout this video to remember that the points that I'm making in this video isn't information that should go in your ear and out the other one. If you want to be successful, you have to act successful. If you want a certain lifestyle, you have to mimic the habits it takes to get there. So really take in the points I'm about to make because they will change your life. The first habit that all successful people have in common is to embrace learning. They never stop learning. The habit of constantly learning is probably the most important one because the world is constantly changing and the world is changing very fast, especially with the technology we have today. So you have to keep up and change as well, but in the matter of changing and gaining your knowledge. We have to adapt with how fast the world is changing, and the only way we can do that is to grow with it. Successful people such as Tony Robbins believes that this one habit, continuously learning, is something that all successful people have in common. Even if you think you've mastered a skill, you have to stay curious. Being comfortable and having an ego is the two most quickest way to stop learning, but you have to realize that mastering a skill is not the end because you will never be able to fully master a skill. And that's why you cannot let your comfort or your ego shut down your process of growing and learning. You have to think like this. Things are constantly developing and things are constantly improving, so why wouldn't you? And the best way that you can keep learning and keeping up with the world is to read books, read newspaper to know what's going on in the world, talk to people, ask questions, listen to new ideas, and much, much more. And it's so important to keep developing your brain and keep learning because the only thing that no one can take from you is your knowledge. If you become so smart that it scares people, you will be able to save yourself from tough situations and also getting fooled. And a great example of successful people take on learning, constantly learning, is Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a super successful basketball player, and one thing that he did to ensure that he was going to succeed was to watch game films for hours every single day. And he did not do this just so that he could admire his way of playing and admire his highlights. He did this because he wanted to analyze his mistakes so that he could improve further. He even went as far as studying other sports and their players' movement patterns just so that he could learn more and improve. And him staying humble and constantly learning may be the reason as to why he became such a big basketball player. He knew that knowledge is power. The most successful people have this one weird habit in common, and it's to always make sure that their bed is made. And they make their bed not just to ensure that their environment is clean, but it's mainly to remind themselves that discipline starts with small wins. It is to show themselves that the small habits that they have in their day-to-day life will build their character and has a big impact on their character. It basically creates your identity, and that's why they prioritize it so much. Because making your bed is such a small act, but it shows you who you truly are. If you make your bed every single day, you build momentum, and momentum generates consistency. So never underestimate making your bed and never underestimate the small habits that you do when nobody is watching you. Because these small habits is what builds you up. These small habits is what builds your character. And some people might roll their eyes at this one and ask, how can such a small, meaningless act possibly be so important to successful people? And if you think like this, let me just ask you a question. How often do you see a successful, disciplined person with a messy environment? If you envision yourself as the top successful person in the world, do you see your environment as a messy space? Do you see your bed not being made? No, you see your environment as a clean and neat place so that the environment doesn't create chaos in your head. You don't want your environment to be messy because a messy environment creates a messy head. Always remember that the outside reflects the inside. If you have a messy environment, you probably have a big mess in your head. If your environment is clean, it will radiate calmness to you, and that will also show you that you're cleaning your space because you believe that you deserve to live in a clean place and take care of the things that you have. So make your bed every single day just to show yourself that I go through with my promises no matter how small they are. And make your bed every single day to show yourself that the top of the mountain is not the only thing that matters. The climb matters and the journey matters. Because the truth is, you will not make it to the top if you do not take care of yourself on your way there. The third habit that top successful people have in common is to wake up earlier and don't underestimate mornings. And this is a habit that we all hear to the point that it's actually getting tiring to hear. But here's the thing. The morning is the only time where the world does not demand anything from you. It's the only time when the world goes quiet and nobody wants anything from you. This is the time where you can actually think freely without any distractions, and the silence helps you to fully focus on your goals and nothing else. And this is why most successful people protect their mornings like it's treasure. Because the secret is that mornings are our greatest treasure. Think of it like this. The morning is the vault that protects the most richest and focused version of you. This is the time where your brain is completely empty from other people's demands and questions. This is the time where you can fully focus on yourself. And people often think that you have to wake up at 4 a.m. to achieve this, but it's not true. If 7 a.m. works better for you, then so be it. You also just want to make sure that you wake up before the chaos starts and that you wake up the same time every single day. Because remember, you want to build a habit, and if you want to build a habit, you will have to do something every single day. And since the morning is the time where you can fully focus in peace, you want to make sure that you have intentional mornings and do the most important thing that you have to do in the mornings. And by doing this and waking up the same time every single day, you're not only making a habit, but you're also showing your brain that I'm in charge here. And by doing this, you're building discipline, building habits, and also a focused mind. This habit is something that the top most successful people have in common, so let yourself become one of them and start waking up earlier. And the last habit I have for this video that all successful people have in common is that they review their purpose before starting the day. The highest performing individuals don't just dive straight into work. They believe that by doing that, you're making a pathway to burnout. What they do instead is that they review their why, which essentially is their purpose, before they start doing anything work related. And the reason as to why they're doing this is because starting off your mornings with reminding yourself of your why and your purpose provides emotional direction for the day. This makes you complete your work task with genuine intention, and it makes you focus on the long-term process instead of just getting things done sloppy. And by doing this, your journey will not be done carelessly, because by reviewing your why every single day, you are constantly being reminded of the deeper purpose behind your actions and efforts. This habit will help you complete your goals with intention rather than sloppiness, which will save you time. Because if you do your work quick, which you tend to do when you don't remind yourself of your deeper purpose, your goal will just be to complete the work as fast as you can, and you won't do it as good as you can, which will result in you having to go back to correct your mistakes. But if you remind yourself of why you're doing something every single morning, you will immediately start with your work tasks with a deep intention and not do it sloppy. This makes you save yourself time, and you will be able to further improve faster. So every single morning, remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. Get in touch with your emotions every single morning. And now you may be wondering, how can I do this? How can I reconnect with my purpose every single morning? And there are a lot of options, so you just have to pick one that suits you. And the options are that you can pray about it, you can do affirmations in the morning, you can read, you can journal, or you can just do quiet reflections where you talk to yourself about what you want to do, why you want to do it. And this will help you to get through your workday with intention. And some of the successful people that shares this habit is Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, Michelle Obama, Will Smith, and much more people that are successful. Needless to say, this is essential for success. And those are just 4 of the many habits that successful people have in common. If you want me to make a part 2, subscribe and like the video. And I want to take a moment to remind you that if you have watched this video all the way through, take it as a sign that you actually deeply care about your future and you are brave enough to confront reality head on. Keep improving. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.